Hey, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
Season 2 of Let's Unpack That After Dark. Boy, oh boy, did I miss y'all. We have a lot to unpack this season. We're open for suggestions, topics, and anything, but welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to see you.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, everybody.
So, first, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Lala. I'm the host, right? And I want to unpack everything. Okay? So take it away, girl.
All right, everybody, y'all know who it is. It's Tamika, aka Healing Hoods Corporation, aka your favorite Taurus reader. And we back for season 2, y'all. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys continue to stay tuned in and tapped in because we have wonderful conversations for season 2. So make sure you guys have your notifications put on. Make sure you guys are following Let's Unpack That on Facebook, Instagram, and all social medias, YouTube. We're trying to get on Twitch. So make sure everybody stays tuned, taps in. Make sure you subscribe and follow. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay, we in season 2, y'all. We in season 2.
Yeah, Shad's out today, but he'll be back next week. You know, he had to take care of some business, but we're gonna hold it down for him this week. All right.
Light in
So,
progress. Light in progress.
so today we're gonna talk about forgiveness. Right now, forgiveness is defined as a process of intentionally um, letting go of negative feeling and towards someone who had did you wrong, right? And a lot of times when it comes to forgiveness, not many people know how to forgive, pretty much, right? And a lot of times people think that forgiveness
Mhm.
is based on another person, right? When forgiveness is based on you, and when you forgive somebody, it gives you the ability and the power to move forward, right? So with forgiveness, right? Oftentimes when someone violates you or do you wrong, same thing, right? We get in our feelings, we get upset, we sometimes don't know how to deal with it, we hold on to it, it festers, and then it grows in within your emotions, right? So you hold on to it, and sometimes time
Right.
pass and you see that person and you be bitter, angry, mad, and you're the one that's mad, but the person that did you wrong is probably just living their life just kind of freely, right? So there's two
Right.
parts to that, right? That's the
Right.
first part, right? I'm going to unpack the first part. So when someone does you wrong, now people are human. We are human beings, right? And we all make mistakes, right? Sometimes mistakes are not intentional, right? And sometimes they are intentional, right? And sometimes
Right.
people make mistakes because they are perceived to be selfish, right? Sometimes when we do things,
Mhm.
we don't think about how it's going to affect the other person in that moment because we're doing what we want to do. That if it's going to benefit us, right? Something that we do
Mhm.
that's going to benefit us in that moment. You don't think about. Most people don't think about the repercussions of their actions. What's going to happen if I
Right.
do this?
Right. Right.
If I sleep with somebody that I'm not supposed to sleep with, what's the backlash going to be in that moment? Or am I going to sleep with somebody because that's what I'm feeling in that moment? And then after the fact, I'm worried about the repercussions behind it, right? Because as humans, we make mistakes and sometimes we do things for ourselves in the moment, right? So when you do something to somebody or somebody does something to you, when it comes time for the apology, right? The apology is something that another person will come to you and give you in that moment based on whatever transpired, what they're feeling, right? And sometimes the apology is asking for forgiveness to allow the person to still have access to you, right? Y'all following me? I don't think y'all hear me, right?
Yep.
Asking
Yep. Yep.
someone
We hear you. We listen.
will allow them to have access to you. Well, in fact, you can forgive someone and never talk to them again, right? And be able to move on with your life if you're able or in the mental capacity to do such a thing, right? So if you think about someone
Right.
who has done you wrong, and if you think about whether or not you've had the ability to speak to that person or address whatever it is that they've done to you, right? What did that conversation look like? Right. What did that come? If you could think back, Mika, if you could think back to a time where someone did something to you and apologize, where did that take you, and how did you deal with it?
So when it comes to forgiveness with me, I don't have a problem forgiving anybody, depending on what it is that you have. Oh God, here we go. The internet's acting up, y'all. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It froze. It froze. Hold on. This shit is acting stupid.
I can hear you. You frozen?
Forgiveness. And with me going, you guys can hear me? You can hear me now? I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now, but you was going for a second.
Okay, I'm back. We back. So there's a lot of things that has happened that my forgiveness was needed, and I don't mind forgiving people because of the fact that the forgiveness is for myself. You know what I'm saying? The forgiveness is for myself, so like that I could release whatever it is that I'm holding on to. People sitting there, but at the same time, I've had moments where people have come to apologize for me, and you think I forgave them right then and there. Nope. I'm like, nope. Nope, I don't forgive you. I don't forgive you. But it takes time because it's all depending on what was done. It's all depending on the action that was done or what it was that you did to push me to have to forgive you. You understand what I'm saying? And I do feel I handle forgiving people in different ways because there's different ways to forgive people.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ways to forgive people. I could forgive you and allow you to and allow reconciliation, and I could forgive you and leave you over there.
Mm-hmm. So understanding that forgiveness is a decision, right? A decision that a person made to move forward
Mhm.
despite whatever transpired, right? So forgiveness can just be within, right? How you feel about a situation or
Mhm.
circumstances, right? Because understand that if we hold on to whatever it is that has caused us any type of trauma, emotional mishaps, anything, it festers and then it affects us, right? And sometimes what
Mhm.
people don't understand is that when you hold on to things and it festers inside, it can cause any kind of condition, a medical condition. Some people
Right.
develop ulcers, it develops stress. Um,
Mhm.
your oxygen level can be low. It's a lot of things that transpires within when you are holding on to anger, towards another
Right.
person because of something that they've done to you,
Right.
right? If you understand the need to forgive, to move on for yourself, then it'll be a better outcome for yourself.
Right. I agree to that.
Now,
I agree to that.
I think everyone can honestly say that they've had situations where they have experienced some trauma, right, at the hands of someone else.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
you have been sad because of how someone treats you, how they talk to you, how they don't appreciate you, or just in general how how they
Right.
make you feel when it comes to not just you, right? Because you have some people that are
Right.
evil and they want to bring you into that, right? And then you also can find out when some people have these situations and it occur and they forgive, they feel better,
Right.
or things start to open up and
Things
the
start to open up. Right.
light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Light
So
in progress. Yep.
it's important to make decisions for yourself, right? Make decisions for yourself that's going to be beneficial for yourself, right? But also understand that when someone does something to you, right, um, and they say, "I'm sorry," right? Um, I apologize. I didn't mean to do it. I won't do it again, right? Oftentimes, we allow that person to have access to us and our heart,
Mhm.
our feelings, right? So when someone does something to you, you forgive them and you allow them to have access to you, then you allow yourself to become more vulnerable or vulnerable to experience something else, right?
Right.
And then you would have to learn how to either deal with moving forward, if you can, or understanding that when it happens again, yeah, you forgave
Right.
that person, but you forgave that person for yourself. Or did you?
Right.
Right? Because if you forgive somebody and you forgive them, right? And you allow them to have access to you, then are you really forgiving them?
I mean, wait, say that last part again.
If you forgive someone and you allow them to have access to you, right? Based on your
Right.
forgiveness, right? Did you forgive them for them or did you forgive them for you?
So with that, like I said, it has to be depending for me, it has to be depending on the situation. You understand what I'm saying? Most of the time people forgive for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Sometimes.
forgiving you. Yeah, most of the time though, most of the time. It's not all the time, but most of the time people are forgiving somebody because they feel they need to forgive them for them to get better, for
Mhm.
them to feel better about themselves, for them to let go and release. So most of the time, the forgiveness is because they're doing it for them. And most of the time, the forgiveness of allowing them, we have people that sit and forgive somebody and sit and let them come back, but deep down inside, they really didn't forgive them. They just wanted the access to them. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say me. I'm sad, and I was with somebody, and me being with them, he did me really, really messed up. But I forgave him, and I bring him back. But I bring him back and forgave him because I missed him. I wanted him here. You
Mhm.
understand?
Mhm.
So they're saying they forgive, but you really didn't forgive. You just wanted the access. That's a big thing that happens with a lot of people, because that's where it comes from. I'm saying I forgive you because I want the access, but deep down inside, I really didn't forgive you. That's a lot of things that happen. I'm saying I forgive you, but I really don't forgive you. I just want you here. I need you here. But then later on down the line, you're bringing up what it is you claim you forgive them for.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that you're forgiving for them to have
Hmm.
access or you to have access to that person, even
To
though
that person.
it did something to you that hurt you, traumatized you, or what have
A
you.
lot of
I
people
think
are
that
genuinely not forgiving people.
so okay. So I think that um I'm looking at the comments, right? It's a lot of comments. Hold on. I'm gonna get to y'all. But
Mhm.
so I think that a lot of here's the thing, right? We always say that people are human and they make mistakes, right?
Hmm.
So if you never forgave someone for for what their mistakes are, how do you move forward or even give them access to you or even have access to them? Right? Because understand that if that person has violated you and hurt your feelings and you allow them to apologize and you allowed yourself to forgive them, and like you said,
Hmm.
you wanted to continue to have access to that person, then that means that
Hmm.
you should be
Hmm.
fully aware of what could possibly happen or transpire again, right? What I'm
Hmm.
saying is that there
Hmm.
are certain situations where a person will apologize just to have access to you, right?
Hmm.
I'll go to the comments real quick. So nephew said that well, I don't know what I said that he said that right. He said forgiving them, forgiving them knowing that they already showed you who they are is allowing yourself to be vulnerable again, to damage you again. Okay, you got a point there, but let me unpack that for a second, right? When we talk about people, right, showing you who they are, right? I think it depends on what the circumstances is, right? Sometimes people
Hmm.
behave in a manner don't even realize, and I'm not making excuses. They don't even realize what it is that they're doing, right? And that's when
Hmm.
trauma bond. That's when I've been through something. I'm acting in this manner based on what I've experienced and experienced, not justifying it, but understanding that when people experience things, they act in a certain manner, right? And sometimes they don't have
Hmm.
the knowledge of what it is that they're doing until it's brought to the light, right? So then we go back
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
being human and having the ability to make a mistake, right?
You know
Every-
what happens a lot too?
right, but hold
What
on.
happens a lot when it,
Let
go
me
ahead,
hold on. Let me land. A
go
lot
ahead,
of
go ahead.
times, everyone has their own breaking point, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, you do have situations where people will forgive, give you access, and try to move on, right? And then you'll have situations where I'm done, right? Some people
Hmm.
are one and one and done. You have one time to violate me. You have one time to
Hmm.
put me through some trauma, and I'm done. But some of us who've experienced trauma, right, who perceive the behavior as normal, will give you another chance, right? We'll find the good in you despite what you've done to me, or despite what you put me,
Right.
so that I can figure out whether or not and believe that you're going to change and not do it to me again. And that's a normal behavior, right?
It is.
But then at some point, we have to get to the point where we can forgive you and choose ourselves, right? So go ahead. What you was gonna say?
You said what I was gonna say. You said it. But I do agree, again,
Wait up,
it's all
nephew.
depending
I can
on the circumstances.
nephew. You want to come up here?
He says sometimes we forgive for codependency. That exactly as a lot of some people sit and forgive because again they the codependency. Some people was taught, you know, let's talk about upbringing. When it comes to the upbringing of somebody, there's many people that are taught that you have to, and if anybody does something wrong to you, you gotta brush it under the rug and act like it never happened. You understand? And forgiveness is not only betrayal from a friend, or my boyfriend cheating on me with another woman, or my wife cheating on me with another man. If forgiveness of situations is being molested by a family member, having problems with a family member, betrayal from a family member, working. You say you work with certain people, and there's people and that you've been through stuff, and because of the trauma or the upbringing, people tell you, don't worry about that. That's your father, that's your brother, that's your sister, that's your uncle, that's this. Brush it on the rug, forgive them no matter what. So people end up growing up thinking that it's okay to forgive people and give them access and allow them to continue to have access because that's what they was taught. Not realizing that the more poison you take, the quicker you're gonna die.
Right.
So, that happens a lot when it comes to forgiveness. And there's many people that have to sit and learn. Again, we are not, the one that taught us forgiveness was Jesus. Love thy everyone. We gotta love everybody, and you gotta forgive everybody. And my goal when it comes to forgiveness is, if you've done some real shady shit to me, I'm gonna forgive you, but stay over there. I'm forgiving you because I need to heal. I need to let that go. I need to be able to sit and know that because of the way the world is, and I know I'm going to run into you, and I can't allow you to sit and ruin my day because I didn't forgive you. There's going to be a possibility that we're going to eat at the same table, but just because we're eating at the same table don't mean we're eating the same meal. I forgive you, but you don't have to have no type of access to me. Because even with me allowing you to bother me, that's still having access.
Send Dawn a link. So, no, I agree. I think that a lot of times, and I totally agree. I think that a lot of times people don't understand the dynamics between forgiveness and access. Being forgiven and still having access, and forgiving and moving forward. Right? Cash. Oh, come on.
Hi,
What's up,
Booby.
y'all?
Nephew.
Boogie,
You got
Auntie.
come on.
I just feel like when you forgive, you gotta forgive for you, right? It's ultimately yourself that you gotta forgive. Like, I forgive myself for allowing this person to have that much access, to feel that comfortable to violate me, right? I could forgive you and just cut you off and be like, yo, I'm not gonna deal with you. But then you have times where you forgive and you deny the access, right? And when you deny the access, if a person is not mentally capable of understanding, like, yo, I messed up, this person don't want to deal with me no more, they're gonna find ways to want more forgiveness, in a sense, to gain that access, regain access.
So, do you agree that the ability to forgive and deny access is a process, right?
Absolutely.
It's a process. Like I said earlier, understanding that sometimes people make mistakes, and we human beings see the better in a person, right? You made a mistake, you apologize. Okay, let's move on. How can we move on? What can be done different, right? But a lot of times people are not honest with themselves when it comes to the behaviors that they display or do to others, right? You have some people that say, you know what, this is just who I am. right? I'm not going to change. This is just who I am. And you have some people that don't want to lose what it is that they have in another person and want to continue to have access to that person for whatever reason or whatever it was to provide or give or
Mm-hmm.
a roof over their head, money and money. You know what I'm saying? Emotional
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
support, trauma
Mm-hmm.
bonding, anything for that in that matter that allows the person to continue to stay in a situation or forgive and continue to allow access with the belief that a person is going to change or do better, right? There are some people that try to do better and just can't, right? But that, like you said, it all boils down to how you feel about yourself and what it is that you're willing to tolerate when it comes to how much a person can do to you or violate you, or you decide that you want to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Hi, hey,
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 Dawn.
how y'all doing?
Miss Dawn.
I'm waiting. Come on, bring it to me.
Well, once you violate me, I'm gonna let you sit in that for a minute.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And not only I'm not gonna forgive you for a while, I definitely ain't gonna let you have access to me. I'll
Hmm.
let it wear off, and I guess I'll just not think about it and just move on from it. But when because we've had friends to violate you, violate the friendship.
Hmm.
I've had that. And when you violate my friendship with you, and I know I'm a good loyal friend, and once you violate me, I'll never go back to you.
Now, have you always been like that?
Yep.
Really?
Because it's something inside of me be like, this heifer and cross me and she gonna do it again.
Mm-mm.
Not that this heifer done cross me.
Because when you have girlfriends and you share things, there's certain girlfriends that you can share certain things with, right?
Mhm.
So when that person violates the friendship, violates your trust, if you think I'm gonna forgive you overnight or even 6 months from now, leave me alone and let it process, like you were saying. Let me get through this,
Hmm.
because see, now I don't trust you at all, and I
But that's
damn
for
sure,
you. I'm sorry, but
huh?
that's for you,
For
right?
me,
You
but
understand when somebody violates you, right? You feel
Mhm.
like I'm first, so I need to process this, right? Not
Right.
everybody has that skill set, right? A lot of
Give
times,
me a minute.
right?
Give me a minute, because I had somebody just like, see, you let me know you're guilty, because you keep
You keep
calling me,
nagging
keep nagging at me. Well, see, I know you're guilty now.
Mm, okay.
Instead of just backing up
and
and
letting the
let me,
cards fall where they fall.
there you go. But when you start keep, oh, see, you're guilty now, I don't want no parts of you. I don't care what happens to you at this point, because you had no business violating our friendship. That's me.
Yogi said, "I'm the same way. You cross me, I will let God deal with you."
I also think
Leave things
like
in God's hand.
just to piggyback off what you said a little while ago, Auntie. Um, Sometimes people make mistakes. We all do.
Hmm.
We make the littlest mistakes. You know what I'm saying? We make the littlest mistakes. But when you go to the extreme of violating me or violating anybody, you doing it intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mistakenly violate somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that you can mistakenly, oh, I did that by accident. No, you ain't do it
Mm-hmm.
by accident. You
Mm-hmm.
knew full well
Hmm.
and consciously what you was doing. What
Exactly.
makes it the mistake that you think is gonna what I'm sorry, let me reiterate that. What you're trying to use to justify the
Justified.
mistake
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that you're trying to say you wasn't conscious of what you was doing.
Right. And
But
you
you
knew
was fully
damn well.
aware. You knew exactly what the hell
Exactly.
you was doing.
Exactly.
You knew what you was doing.
Exactly.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay, so I'm hold on to that for a second, right? So now that we are clear that people do violate you and they know what they're doing, the manipulation, the controlling, the narcissism, those type of behaviors that some of us have experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that allows some of us to forgive and still deal in that situation?
codependency,
Okay.
lack of self security, lack of I don't know. I'll just say it for myself. Like I've been in situations where it's like I don't realize how much support I have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give you
Mm.
an example. I could, I know I could pick up the phone and call Tamika anytime.
Mm-hmm.
I call her at 2 o'clock in the morning. She be with drool coming right out her eyes. She'll answer. It'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, but I don't want to harass her.
Mm-hmm.
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 So what do? I call the next best thing that I know that even though it's bad for me, they
Mm-hmm.
go answer because it's the lack of security within myself, the lack of confidence within myself.
Okay. So let me hold you for a second. Someone, Libra, don't tip my scale, said comfort, being familiar. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
comfort and being familiar is one of the number one reasons why we pedal back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've had people, and I've been in situations where that person made me feel safe, and I can be who I want to be 100% and tell that person anything, but that person wasn't the right person for me. But when I had a moment, I would call that person, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that's off limits.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it
I'm
matters
not.
because
I ain't fooling with you.
in my moment, what I'm saying is that in that moment for me, when I was in that
Mm-hmm.
in my life, that
Mm-hmm.
comfort is what I needed, right? So oftentimes when we're comfortable and familiar with a person, no matter what has been, some of us, not everybody, we know not you doing, but no matter no matter what a person has done to you, right? Violate, steal. I mean, I can go on and on and on, right? There's still a place of comfort that we are used to within that
Mm-hmm.
familiar, right? We're comfortable, we're familiar. So we tend to, I'm not going to say forget, right? We tend to put that to the side. Yeah, I know you might have gave me two black eyes and all that, but I'm comfortable right now.
It's what you
Mm-hmm.
know. You
I'm comfortable.
familiar. Sometimes we
I
we
need,
too we
yeah,
too
I
we
need,
too we too scared to get uncomfortable. We too comfortable in a situation, too comfortable of the outcome. We're adapted to the environment already.
right.
And
So I
because
need,
we're so adapted to that, trying to get unadapted and going into a foreign land that we ain't never been to or something that we don't remember going through, we
mhm.
stay stuck there.
Well, it starts with us, right? It starts with you within, right? It starts within, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you get to a point, you, the person, whoever it is, gets to the point where you know when you can really recognize that comfort and familiar is just not always the best thing in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that you have to choose yourself first, right? And make a decision for yourself and your own
Mm-hmm.
peace. Then you
Mm-hmm.
then you become more familiar with the behavior of why it's necessary to forgive and deny access, right? Because most of
Hmm.
the time, like you said, a person knows when they violate you, they know what they're doing, and they
They
also
know.
say so that you can forgive
Mm-hmm.
them and allow them to have access to you.
I
Hmm.
think you. I guess I've learned. I've learned how to put boundaries on people, so therefore we won't get to that forgiveness part. Because if
Hmm.
I put a boundary, I won't let you get that close
Hmm.
anymore. Life has taught me that.
Right.
Life lessons have taught me. Hey, this is the line.
Hmm.
We're not going. I'm not going to give you access, so we won't be talking. That forgiveness is not going to even be in the conversation because I'm not going to give you access. I'm going to give you so much.
I'm gonna give you enough strength.
And then when I see you moving funny, then I can dismiss you and move on.
But the key word that you said there is life lessons, right?
Yeah,
So
life lessons.
we don't wake up and say I'm gonna develop boundaries. We don't. We've
No,
experienced things. We've had
life.
people violate us,
Hmm.
put our
Mm-hmm.
feelings,
Mm-hmm.
put us in these uncomfortable situations that we do not want to see again, right?
Hmm.
So now we become familiar with certain behaviors that nope, seen this before,
Yep, heard
Mm-hmm.
it all
gonna
before.
do it, right? But
Red
that's
flags.
all has to be red flag, right? Lessons learned, things and how we experience things and how we deal with them is how we move forward and we forgive and deny access.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's how we unpack that.
Well, go ahead, unpacking.
Yeah.
I'm so
So,
glad you're back. I'm glad you had a good summer, but I'm glad y'all back.
Thank you.
Amen.
Glad to be
Amen.
back. We are glad to be back. I think that sometimes, summertime everybody's moving. There's something going on. Everybody got something
Mm-hmm.
going on. And when the weather starts to break, we really want to sit down and have these real conversations that that can resonate to somebody, right? Because everybody has gone through something that you felt like, if people have gone through things where they don't even want to share it because they think that they're the only one that's going through it, right?
Right. That's
Um,
true.
people
Mm-hmm.
want to. We live in this world where social media makes everybody look perfect, right? But none of us are perfect. We all go through stuff. How we handle,
Mm-hmm.
it, how we move forward,
Mm-hmm.
what we've been. We all got a testimony, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody has a testimony. Everybody got something that we can talk about and say and share. And this is the purpose of Let's Unpack That After Dark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the main things for forgiveness is accepting the pain for the past to accept the pain that's coming in the future. If you don't sit and forgive and release and let go of that pain, again, forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. If you don't accept the pain from the past, that means you're going to be stuck in that pain. You're gonna be stuck in it. You're gonna end up by yourself. You're gonna end up not having a life. You're gonna be an old person in the house with cats and birds and all the other stuff because you're stuck in that forgiveness because you're not accepting the pain from the past. Life is always gonna have pain. There's always gonna be a betrayal. There's always gonna be a setback. There's always gonna be something that's gonna piss you off and something that's gonna hurt you because that's just life. But if you don't accept that pain, we have to accept the pain. And the reason when I say accept that, I don't mean you have to. You know what is pain? No, accepting is that it happened. You accepting that it happened, and there's nothing that you could sit and do with the fact that it happened. But what are you gonna do to move forward from it? I accept what happened. I forgive you for what you have done, and I'm forgiving you for my sanity and my peace. But because of what you have done, you don't deserve access to me. You don't deserve this reconciliation. You don't deserve to have me in your life anymore because when you did have the opportunity to have me in your life, you decided to choose to violate me. And
Mm-hmm.
again, not every situation is a violation. Sometimes it could be you took my fucking pants by mistake or you took we don't is there's certain things that is not that serious, but I forgiveness for me is the main thing. My friend that betrayed me, my man that cheated on me, my family members that violated me. From
Mm-hmm.
like I said, people grow up thinking you're supposed to forgive everybody, especially family, no matter what they do, no matter what has happened. Again, your uncle raped you, forgive him, that's your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing that's not good. They gotta forgive. I'm willing to forgive you, but you're forcing me to have access to somebody that violated me, and now that's causing me more trauma because that's what people are brought into.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is accepting the pain from the past to accept the pain that's to come.
Mm.
Forgiveness is a choice,
Hmm.
right?
Forgiveness is a choice. It is a
Forgiveness.
choice, but I do feel forgiveness is a choice that's needed.
Say it
I
again.
do feel there's a choice that need there's a choice that people need to make. I feel people really need to choose forgiveness. You have to really choose forgiveness because when you don't sit and forgive, you're holding on to that. It's gonna leave you bitter for the rest of your life. You're gonna be a bitter person for the rest of your life if you choose not to forgive. People here forgive and they think, oh, I forgive. And if I forgive them, then no. It's not that you're giving them access. It's not that they're gonna know about your life and they could pick up the phone and call you and you gotta sit and talk to them. And when it's your birthday, you gotta send them an invite. And when you get married, they need to be in your wedding. Nah, it's not that. It's
Right.
not that. It's allowing yourself to heal from it. Because again, there's nothing that you could sit and do if you sit and you go into Walmart and guess who's gonna be there? We're gonna do every time you see them, you're gonna fight them.
Yeah.
Every
Well,
time you see them, you're gonna do something, and what all that does is it causes you more trauma. It causes you more stuff. Every time I see you, I gotta fight you. So every time I see you that I fight you, I'm going to jail. Every time I see you because I didn't forgive you, I fight you. And every time I see you, I'm getting a black eye, a busted lip, my hair pulled out. There's something that's going on.
right.
Every time I see you is always an argument, and all it's doing is adding more fuel to the fire, more fuel to the fire. So again, I feel people have to really, really choose forgiveness and overstand. I'm not forgiving you for you. I'm forgiving you for me because I have to. I gotta let this go. I have to release it because it happened and there's nothing that I could do with what happened. But there is something that I could do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right. Right. So that's
So I'm
so I'm
sorry.
sorry. So I'm gonna go back to what I said. Forgiveness is a decision to move forward despite whatever. Right.
Mhm.
Hold on to that. Go ahead, Dawn.
No, I would see. I was listening to me to Tamika. So, do you think we should have a time? Is there a time limit on forgiveness?
There's no time limit on forgiveness. I
Well,
don't think there's no time limit on forgiveness. I think when it comes to, it's up to you and your healing. And if it takes me three
right.
years to forgive you, it took me 3 years to forgive you.
Right.
But I allowed, within them 3 years, I was healing. I was doing the work to sit and
Mm-hmm.
get to the point where I'm at to be able to sit and look at you and forgive you. Because
Hmm.
again, violation is violation. What I
Mm-hmm.
consider not to be a violation could be a major violation for you. You
Mm-hmm.
Right.
understand what
So
I'm saying? And everybody has their own way of healing is forgiving. So when you're
Right.
on the when you're in the journey of healing for forgiveness, it's not everybody's heart is as open as somebody
mhm,
else.
mhm,
Not everybody is Jesus. Y'all know I'm always saying that. I love Jesus for the heart that he had, but I don't have the heart of Jesus to sit and forgive everybody for their sins. I don't. I do have it in me, but I don't have it to forgive right then and there. You
mhm.
understand what I'm saying? I have to sit and cope with the situation before I
Mm-hmm.
could sit and say before I could sit and go to you and give you that as well. Because even though I'm not forgiving you for you, but before I give you that, because when I do tell you I forgive you, you're healing too. Because I know you fucked up for what you did to me. I know you feeling it because you don't have the access to
Right.
me.
So
Don't have the access.
that goes back. So Dawn, you asked about time frame, right? So
Right.
we know that forgiveness is the process of intentionally letting go of negative feelings towards someone who has wronged you. So
Mm-hmm.
what does
Hmm.
that look like for you? What does it look like for you when it comes time for you to forgive someone, letting go the feelings, right? We hold on to feelings now. Like that's
Yeah.
not you
We
Hmm.
know,
do. We hold on to feelings.
because
I don't.
you know when somebody does something to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all have a song in common. Every time you hear the song, you're gonna feel it, right? If
Mm-hmm.
somebody did
Hmm.
something to you and y'all had a favorite place to go that you drive past every day, it might be a
Hmm.
day you drive by and
Mm-hmm.
look out the window and be like, "Ugh," right?
Hmm.
So when we talk about forgiveness, right? That's a feeling that you have to be willing to
Let
like
go.
let go, and
Yeah.
that's a feeling for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because and you have to be able to see that person and not be
Hmm.
angry, right? And that's a lot. That takes a lot for some people. Not everybody has that ability, right?
Yeah.
Some people can,
It
Right.
and
it takes a
I've
while.
heard people say that when somebody does something to them, they have a funeral for them in their head,
Really.
Hmm.
I never went that far,
right?
but
And
it does
what that
take a
means is,
minute.
let me clarify that, right? What that means is seeing you, hearing you, hearing your name, seeing a picture, seeing anything is gone from my emotions. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So they
You dead
say
to me.
use the terminology funeral because funeral is the last meeting,
That's it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people use that tax for themselves to make them be able to let go of those feelings intentionally, and that's how they deal with it.
Mm-hmm. It takes me a
Hmm.
minute to get that feeling, get
It's
that emotion away from me. It
time,
does take.
maturity,
Yeah.
right, and how severe the situation.
Yeah. Depending on how severe
Yeah, I
it
was
is.
just gonna
It'll
say
take
that.
me.
And
I
and I
but
I'm sorry, baby.
um for me, like just to touch on that, for me, I would say probably up until about maybe like 2 3 years ago, it used to take me years to forgive somebody. You
And let
know,
me ask you a question:
my
how did that work out for you? Like real talk,
well,
when you
it didn't work out too well. Like I'll give you a prime example. My biological dad, we got the same birthday. He 20 years older than me. So his 20th birthday, he got a birthday gift, his first kid. And last time I could remember even celebrating the same birthday with my dad was 7 years old. I'm going on 33. It took me until I was 31 to actually forgive him, to look at him and go, yo, you know what? I ain't mad at you. I forgive you. And I forgive you because in the long run, I ain't lose out on nothing. You lost out on the major things in my life. So I've been sitting here all these years mad at you, wondering where the hell you been. And not for nothing, I'm kind of glad that I ain't have those experiences with you. Would have been nice.
do you feel like the anger that you had prior to you being able to say I forgive you festered? Did it affect you in other relationships, other dynamics and conversation?
Um, I wouldn't say that it affected how I moved forward with other people.
Mhm.
Um, because in reality, my biological father not being around really didn't even matter because I had a father figure. You know,
Okay.
I had other people that stepped in and took on, that job, took on that title. But it hit me harder, probably I would say about 7 years ago when I lost the man who was my dad.
Okay.
And it was just like, all right, well, here I do, what do I do now? The guy that is my dad is gone and you still alive. Like, why he take him and not you?
Okay.
Mm.
And was it at that moment that you realized that
And it
you
was just,
were
no, at that moment, I was just like, all right. And it became more of for me, it wasn't a point of, I want to forgive you. It was now I had a vengeance. I didn't like you. I didn't like the sound of your name. I didn't want to hear your name. I didn't want to hear about you. I didn't care what you was doing. You could have went bungee jumping. It didn't matter to me.
Mhm.
You could have went plane, jumped off a plane. Did you fall? Are we going to your funeral? Those were the thoughts in my head because I just didn't want to hear about you no more. And
Mhm.
like I said, up until about 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? I can't live like this. I can't live with this emotion of when I needed you, you wasn't there. You ain't show me nothing. And
Mhm.
when I was able to say, yo, listen, I forgive you, I felt better where, now he could text my phone and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm not gonna give you that respect of being my dad, but I'm gonna give you that respect of being a human. You heard what I had to say, you acknowledged what I had to say, you asked for forgiveness. I'm not gonna give you that much access to me because understand you didn't gain nothing from me to give you that amount of access. But I'm gonna give you just enough access that you can text me and ask me how I'm doing, and I'm gonna tell you I'm fine.
Okay. That's growth. That's growth.
And that's
That's
it.
very good.
You
Thank
know
you
what I
for
mean? I'm
sharing
not I'm just not going. That's just me. I've been learning, now I'm on the process of learning how to just let it go. I'm not gonna
that.
verbally tell you, oh, I forgive you. I'm gonna forgive you in my head, in my heart, for myself, spiritually, and
Okay.
I'm gonna just let it go. Because if I allow you to know that I forgave you, what's that gonna do? That's gonna give you the access to try to play with me again, and I'm not giving you that. I'm not a jungle gym.
So that's your forgiveness and you denying access. So that's
Mhm.
growth. That's growth.
Facts. I'm
So
on 72 hours of growth, y'all.
how
72
come
hours of
you got
growth.
a whole lot of more
Out
hours
of
to
five,
go. We're
out of
gonna make
5 years,
sure.
72 hours, man.
We're gonna make sure that she's doing. So we're coming to the close of episode 1 of season 2. I have a forgiveness affirmation that I'm going to read for you guys, and hopefully you can take something from it. Um, it says forgiveness affirmation. I am now living my life the way I want to. I am forgiving myself for my mistakes in the past. I am a pioneer of the future. I am a pioneer of the future. As I forgive others, I am forgiven. I release all judgment, guilt, and shame. Each day is filled with new possibilities. I am strong, loving, joyful person. I forgive you. I forgive myself.
That's crazy
Mhm.
that was your affirmation for this episode, because me and my god sister was literally just saying this probably about like 12 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to love on yourself, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
And understand
Exactly.
that if you love on yourself and you can forgive yourself, then you can have the ability to forgive others and deny access, or
Mhm.
forgive others and allow access if you choose to. It is your choice, right? But just always remember to keep yourself first. It's okay to
Mhm.
be selfish at times, right?
Hmm.
Exactly.
Especially at the
Mhm.
expense of your happiness and your
Mhm.
will and your drive. Okay.
Mhm.
And that is concluding of Let's Unpack That After Dark today.
All right.
We
Yes.
will be back.
Fire. Thank
We
you. I
will be
appreciate
back
it.
next Wednesday at 9 o'clock, same time. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, IG, and also Facebook. Until
All
next
right.
week, we say thank you. God bless and be safe.
Bye.
You ended.